Day 4 had arrived. We'd only just reached the edge of the Goldfields. It was rapidly becoming clear that Wiluna was likely to be out of reach again, unless we decided to extend the trip past 2 weeks, and that was going to be very unlikely. We were really taking our time and enjoying the spots we stayed at, instead of rushing from one place to the next. It was a cold night, but a beautiful sunny morning to wake up to. The wind had dropped, so I managed to charge up the drone and get some footage from the air. Then it was time to ease our way back through the narrow track to the main campsite and on to Bodallin Roadhouse. We seemed to make it through the track with no damage, and stopped at the Bodallin Roadhouse just to have a look at the rest area. Here, travellers will find public toilets, a shelter, a seat, and a public phone box. Unfortunately, like all the rest areas close to the Great Eastern Highway, it suffers from noise, especially from the massive trucks passing by, it seems like every few minutes. We wanted to have a more peaceful experience, so we were looking for places that were close enough to the highway, but just far enough back to get away from the traffic noise. We did have the option to push on further, as we'd seen Southern Cross and Lake Koorkoordine before, but we decided to just take it easy and stay at Koorkoordine anyway. Last time we'd had a look at the lake, we were in the Prado and didn't really have a good look around, so staying overnight meant we'd have the chance to explore a little bit more. We briefly stopped in town to have a look at the local op shop. I wound up spending $40. You just never know what you're going to find lurking in these little shops. There's another overnight rest area opposite the railway hotel in town, and it's only for self-contained RVs. We did think about staying there and getting a meal from the pub, but really the lure of the bush was really what won us over in the end. There was plenty of water in the lake, and there were lots of really nice spots with a view over the water. There was a good strong Telstra signal as we were only a few kilometres out of town. We had a nice night last night at Bodallin Dam, and we've come along today to Southern Cross and just out of town to Lake Koorkoordine. Don't know if it's Koorkoordine or Koorkoordine. Somebody might correct me on that if they know what the pronunciation is. Nice spot out here again, plenty of water, and we're after summer, so there must have been rains to top this up surely. Quite a nice spot out here. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll probably remember that we dropped in here about 7 months ago when we came through with the Prado and the camping trailer. We didn't stay that time. We were on our way to Bruce Rock because there's some bad weather coming. So this time we're in the coaster, and even if it does rain, we can sit here quite happily. A few rocks as you're coming in, so just take it easy over those, but nothing really to speak of. We got over them without any trouble on the coaster. It's just a little bit rough, that's all. Tracks everywhere here, so I might just get the scooter out and do a bit of exploring. It's fairly hard ground, so even though it's a bit uneven, I think the scooters will cope with it, and it'll be interesting to see how they go on this sort of stuff. So I'm just going to have a little wander around now and see what I can see. Just down from where we're camped, there's quite a nice area right by the water here. We're happy enough where we are because we're nice and level. This one looks like it's on a bit of an angle, but it's not too bad. Wouldn't be a bad spot to come down and park, but yeah, we're pleased enough with where we are. Leave these spots open for anybody who wants to get close to the water. The one thing that was a little bit odd at Bodallin Dam was the lack of birds, or at least initially. We were there from midday yesterday until, I don't know, early morning sometime today, and it wasn't until this morning that we actually started to hear birds making a reasonable racket. You expect a lot more than that in an area that's got permanent water and a lot of trees, but it was very quiet yesterday. Looking at the rock ledge along here, this is the sort of place you dream about finding when you're by the coast. So you can throw a line in. Sadly, throwing a line in here is not going to produce much in the way of results, I don't think. When we dropped into Koorkoordine last September, really didn't do much exploring to have a look at what was around here, but there's some very, very nice little spots you can get into here. Very pleasant. For some reason, maybe it's the red earth and the combination of rocks here, but reminds me a bit of Cleaverville. That gives me a bit of a heartache. I don't know if I'll ever get back up there, because that is absolutely my favourite campsite in the whole country. There's just nowhere I'd rather be than Cleaverville.